Now, what are the use of radioisotopes in medical fields, security screening, industries, archaeology, space exploration, and certain type of other fields? Okay, so to the use of radioisotopes is mainly we can feel it common as a common person. We can feel it whenever we go to the for any medical diagnosis. Okay, most of the time they use the certain type of radiations. A simple example is that of the X-ray. Okay, and the radioisotopes are also used for generating electricity. Okay, and in certain industries. Okay, to detect the leaks of the manufactured steel items or the metal items. Okay, in addition, the radiation has useful application in areas such as agriculture, archaeology, mostly for the carbon dating purpose, space exploration for the energy generation, power generation, law enforcement, geology, and many others. Okay, so in medical fields, you can see a number of radioisotopes are used. Okay, as for example, the sodium is used for detecting the blood clot in our body. Okay, the iodine is used for identifying the functioning of the normal functioning of the thyroid gland, and cobalt is mostly used for in cancer related treatments. Okay, apart from that, there are other different radioisotopes such as technetium, sodium, iodine, xenon, and gold. Okay, technetium is the most widely used radioactive elements in medical fields. Okay, so you can see the examples of this radiation, different radiations, type of radiations used in different radio diagnosis process, such as X-ray is very much common to you all. Then your CT scan and other radiation therapies as well. Okay. Security screening mostly in the airports and in the today in the railway areas or in certain specific important areas. Whenever we go, we undergo through a security check. What happens in that particular check? Certain type of ray is being projected in the items, and then the image is obtained in the computer, and thereby we can identify whether there is any threat or not. Okay. Industries, mostly in the industries, the manufacturing industries mostly related to those of the metals, they use this sort of radio techniques. Okay, radioisotope are being used, okay, to detect any type of flaws such as the leaks, the gauge engine wears, corrosion of the equipment, etc. Okay, what happens in this, the radioactive beam is being projected into the metal, and on the opposite side there is a sort detector which detects the intensity of the beam, and it gives a reading. Okay, it shows a reading in the computer, and with that the defects can be analyzed. Okay, in case of archaeology, mostly the radioisotope carbon-14 is used to study or the age of the to determine the age of the any certain items. Okay, what happens in the living condition, the living body, they absorb carbon, and the carbon gets converted into carbon-14. Okay, and later on, after when the living organism dies, then the carbon-14 it gets converted back into carbon-12, and that takes a particular amount of years. With that, how much through this knowledge, how we can identify, we can get to know how much the radioactive carbon-14 is decayed. Okay, and the age of the particular living organism so can be determined. Okay, and carbon-14 isotope is used mostly for the living organisms. For the other non-living organisms, certain other type of isotopes such as the plutonium, etc., are being phosphorus, etc., are being used. Okay, so here you can see the carbon-14 element, okay, is undergoing decay. Okay, and if the percentage of carbon-14 is totally in good amount 100%, that is slightly after the death, the percentage of carbon-14 will be 100%, and after 5730 years it will be reduced to half. And with this knowledge we can determine the age of certain amount of animals or living organisms which had died. In space exploration, mostly for the generation of the energy or the power for the spacecraft, okay, or any satellites, etc. Okay, mostly they use the radioisotope thermoelectric generator, okay, which provides power for spacecraft by converting heat generated by the natural radioactive decay, okay, of its fuel source such as plutonium dioxide into electricity using devices called thermocouples. Okay, they use this thermocouple. It's a device under which the radioisotope thermoelectric generator, okay, they convert the heat generated from this plutonium dioxide into electricity. The high decay heat of plutonium enables it to use its use as an electricity source in the radioisotope thermoelectric generator of spacecraft satellite and navigation beacons. Okay. Here you can see a module of the GPHS, that is general purpose heat source module, and the plutonium pellet. Okay. Others include the crime investigation, okay, field, that is sampling or analyzing the bloods or any other type of different tissues. Okay, here you can see the UV light is being projected in order to find out certain clues about the crime. Okay, then radioactive isotopes can also be used as a tracers. Okay, tracers are as to know about certain type of pollutions is happening or not. Okay, and it is also used to detect the presence of water. Okay. What are the health risks due to radiation exposure? Mostly genetic mutation, diseases or disorders, soil infertility, radiation burns, effect of on wildlife, effects on plants, effect on marine life. Okay, mostly the effect on wildlife, effect on plants, and effect on marine life. They all are related to the health also, right? Health of human beings also. Okay, directly or indirectly. So let us go through it. Genetic mutations. Mutations basically means the changing in the particular code of a gene. Okay, particular DNA. Okay, DNA is basically comprises of the certain type of nucleotide. What happens in mutations? The nucleotide, the genetic codes, they get manipulated. Okay, and this might this may be negative, and sometimes it is no, positive as well. So the degree of the genetic mutation leading to changes in the DNA or RNA composition varies due to the level of radiation one is exposed to and the kind of exposure. As for example, whenever we undergo X-ray, we don't our cells doesn't get mutated, isn't it? Why? Because the amount of radiation also matters, and the time extent up to which the radiation is being exposed to our body also matters. Okay, that's why. So ionizing radiations causes severe cellular damage both directly and indirectly, and disturbs the RNA integrity. Okay, here you can see the in a particular cell the radiation okay is exposed, and a particular cell is exposed to the radiation, certain type of radiation, and you can see there are the breaking of the bonds, okay, of between the strands is happening. Okay, it may occur either in a particular portion or in two of these strands. Okay, and the damage can be either direct or indirect. Suppose there is certain amount of radiation, it may directly affect the DNA or the RNA, or it may release certain type of byproducts, which in turn goes and affects the DNA or RNA. Okay, that means it can affect the both directly and indirectly. Certain type of diseases and disorders are caused by the radiations, the most prominent of which is the cancer. Okay, others include leukemia, anemia, hemorrhage, premature aging, and premature deaths. Okay, and mostly the RNA damage are involved in the development of certain type of diseases such as Alzheimer and Parkinson disease. You can pause the video and just have a look at it, at this picture. So this representation of the Alzheimer disease, under which you can see there is a shrinkage of the different portions of the brain is happening. That is atrophy. Atrophy means the shrinkage. Okay, of the cerebral cortex is happening. The ventricles is getting enlarged, and the atrophy of hippocampus is happening. So this particular hippocampus and the gyrus and sulcus, okay, the cerebral cortex region is very much important, because it is the main center which controls the memory and language of an individual. Okay, so if these are affected, obviously the memory and language will also be affected. As you can see, in most of the Alzheimer patient, they tend to forget. Okay, even the simple things they used to forget, and they find it difficult to speak out something. Okay, Parkinson's disease, mostly it is known as the trembling disease. Okay, and you can say typical symptom or appearance of a Parkinson affected person. Okay, under which in this particular type of disease, the level of these neurotransmitters, mostly the dopamine, gets very much low. Okay, the secretion becomes very much low, and dopamine is mainly involved in the activeness of our body. Okay, so this ultimately hampers the communication ability of the affected individual. So if we see into the brain portion, we will see there is a particular portion which is called substantia nigra. Okay, the neurons in that particular region gets degenerated in Parkinson affected individuals. Okay, thereby the dopamine is unable to secrete and process it naturally. Okay, and this leads to various type of effects in our body, such as trembling is a very much important factor in this type of disease. Stoop posture, back rigidity, fixed elbows and flexed elbows and wrist. okay, tremors in the legs, etc. Some well-known inherited genetic disorder includes cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, Tay-Sachs disease, etc. Okay. So what are these inherited genetic disorders? These are mostly the disorders which are transferred from the parents to the offspring. Okay. So mostly this type of disorder takes place due to the mutation in certain type of genes present in different type of chromosome, as you can see in this particular picture. Okay. So in case of cystic fibrosis, the fluid materials which are secreted inside our body gets thickened enough, okay, and it blocks different type of pathways, air passages or pathways, thereby leading to different type of infection inside our body. In case of sickle cell anemia, normally the red blood cells is of biconcave shape, and as a result of this defect in a particular hemoglobin gene, what happens, the shape of this RBC cells, they gets transformed into a sickle shape, and thereby it blocks the passage. Okay. In case of Tay-Sachs disease, a particular type of fatty acid degrading enzyme is not secreted. Okay, as a result of which the fatty acids gets accumulated inside our body and mostly in the nervous system, thereby affecting, causing different type of ill effects. And in case of phenylketonuria, a particular type of enzyme, that is PH enzyme, is not formed. Okay, as a result of the mutation in the PH gene. Okay, as a result of which the phenylalanine, which is a particular type of amino acids obtained from certain protein, okay, it gets accumulated inside our body, and it causes a various type of ill effects inside our body. This is a pictorial representation of the color blind people. Okay, mostly the color blindness is related to that to the autosomal X chromosome. Okay, here you can see how the color blind people perceive or see different items as compared to that of the normal people. Okay, the apple, the green and red apple example is very much common. Here you can see, to the normal person, the green apple, the yellow and the red is clearly distinguishable, but for the color blindness people, the red and green can't be distinguished, differentiated, as a result of which it seems to appear like some sort of pale yellow or something, some other color. Okay. So this the fourth picture, it states how it is showing how different type of color blind people perceives the different type of vision. Okay. Soil infertility, radioactive substance presents mostly into the soil. Okay, it creates a huge problem. Okay, not only for the food products but also for the human beings. Okay, here you can see in the picture, in the lower picture, these are four set of plants. Okay, the first one is the normal one, the second one is the radiation given in a limited dose, and then after increasing the amount of dose, you can see the effects in the subsequent plants. Okay, so clearly you can see that the size of the plant, the number of leaves of the plants is getting reduced. So this is the ill effect of the radiation. Okay, this can be related to that of the crops grown in a particular field, and which is having a radiation affected area. Okay, so you can have an idea that the amount of crops, the grains, the quantity of the yield will definitely be hampered. Burns, mostly the radiation burns are the radiations cannot be seen, but it can be felt extensively when burnt occurs in our body. Okay, the immediate presence of burns, blisters, red lesions and sores is evidence to the radiation effect. Okay, to make it worse, it can lead to skin cancer. So here you can see there is a picture of the normal skin and the radiation affected skin. Okay, mostly the radiation affected skin, they have this thickening of epidermis, atrophy of the sweat glands, and sebaceous glands, hyperkeratosis, etc. This causes the skin dryness and weakness of the skin barrier. Okay, and radiation, they activate the melanocyte. Okay, thereby promoting the formation of melanin. Melanocytes are the cells which produces the melanin pigment. Okay, and certain types they produce melanin to a very much greater extent, which leads to the hyperpigmentation. Effects on wildlife, mostly the, like I said, the size of the trees, the yield of the number of leaves and the yield of the tree particular plant is badly affected as a result of the this one radiation, right? So here you can see in the first picture, this is the radiation effect in Chernobyl, in which the pine trees are defoliated. Okay, and mostly they turn into the brown, certain amount of brown color. And in the lower picture, you can see this is a butterfly, Fukushima butterfly, in which there is a comparison between the normal one and the radiation affected one. You can see the difference in the wings, isn't it? And the eyes also, the eyes are also affected in case of the Fukushima radiation. Okay, Effect on plants, mostly I said like the defoliation takes place, is a very much ill consequence of the radiation effect on plants. And we know that some natural some fruits contains natural radiation in themselves, okay, as for example the banana and the Brazil nuts, they have certain type of, they emit certain type of radiations naturally, okay. And in case of plants, the stomata stop to evaporate, okay, that is the radiation, it hampers the opening and closing of this stomata, and thereby the transpiration is affected, and the overall the shape and size of the plant is also affected. Effects on marine life, mostly the various sorts of radioactive waste materials released from the industrial sites is directly dumped into the oceans, okay, thereby the ocean and the oceanic animal, they have it or incorporate it into the uh, body, inside the body, and thereby leading to biomagnifications, and which ultimately creates a very much ill consequences, okay. Then the seaweed, mostly which is used in the bread items, are have a certain amount of radioisotope that is called ruthenium, okay. And mostly the shell of the fishes and the tissues of the fishes, they are contaminated with this type of radionuclides, right. And this radionucleosides, they affect the soft tissues and bones of the fishes, okay. And indirectly, when we consume the fishes, it also affects the us. To summarize, the effect of radiations includes the damage of living tissues due to ionizing radiations. Non-ionizing radiations damages the eyes, causes skin burns, etc. And the ionizing radiations, they have due to emitted from nuclear explosions, they cause genetic defects, teratogenic changes. Teratogenic changes means defects in the development process of the body, baby. Okay, the defects of the development of baby. Now, mutation due to ionizing radiations can give rise to cancer, and in severe conditions they can lead to death. Radioactive elements present in the food increases various risks to human health. Okay, radiation elements present in aquatic bodies and poses greater risk to human health as well. What are the control measures of this type of problems? First is the proper maintenance of nuclear plants is very much important, so that no nuclear waste is emitted or leaked into the environment. Okay, prevention of large scale nuclear experiments is very much important, okay. Safe transportation is also important, avoiding use of nuclear weapons, as we have seen in the earlier slides about the incident of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that creates a lot of negative consequences, okay. So it's better we should avoid the use of nuclear weapons. That periodic surveillance and awareness campaigns are very much important, okay. Time to time the surveillance of a particular area or particular region in which the nuclear experiment is going on, or nuclear materials are used, then radioactive materials are used, should be properly periodically surveyed, okay. uh, Proper storage is very much important. Minimal use of nuclear elements, extraction and separation of harmful radioactive materials from nuclear waste is also very much important. Okay, out of the waste, the radioactive materials should be segregated. Okay, then through the 3 hours, or you can see through the 4 hours, also we can try to keep a check on the effect of these nuclear hazards. Nuclear waste handling disposal is a very much important point in this regard, okay. So we know the various type of radioactive materials, they have different type of penetrating power, okay, based upon which what you can do, the certain type of radioactive materials can be dumped on the ground, okay, thereby covering them, or we can cover them with the lead blocks, okay, so that the radiation is not uh, exposed. It can also be contained by storing in remote areas, where like that of the remote caves or the leftover caves, okay, and abundant salt mines, etc. However, natural artificial shield, they may get damaged over time, obviously by accidental purposes also. The various type of harmful radioactive materials can be exposed, okay. So in the upcoming slides, we will be getting knowledge about the various environmental laws, okay, and under which we shall be learning about the Environmental Protection Act, Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, etc. Okay. So till then, if you have any query related to these topics, okay, you may contact me in my WhatsApp contact number, and I hope the slides are convenient to you all. Okay, a number of important informations, a number of other additional informations can be put in this slides, okay, but since it will take a huge amount of time, okay, and it will lead to only the vastness of the topics, okay. So I hope the contents of this present on this slide is will be enough for you all, okay. So till even a number of certain factors can be added, okay, to for clear understanding of this topic. So for this you can just take a help from the Google sites and all, right? You can go and check the effects of this nuclear explosions in Hiroshima and Nagasaki as well, okay. And I hope this will be enough for today, and till then, thank you very much. And if you have any query, please do let me know in my WhatsApp number.